Hello, everyone. This is the It Gets to a Point podcast featuring your girl, Valerie Marie. You can catch me over on the Grand Scheme of Things live when I do go live on my TikTok as well as my Instagram. More so, this podcast is an extension of the Grand Scheme of Things live, and this is just a safe space for me to talk and self-express, and also may be able to help someone with some of the topics that I discuss. Now, on this particular podcast, it is not a podcast that is perfected. I'm not a perfect person, thus, I'm not going to have a perfect podcast. With this being number 4 episode, Mastering Oneself, and also it took some time for me to do it because I was going through it, honey. Everything you thought could go wrong went wrong around the holidays, and I just had to take some time to just take a step back. And one thing about me, I don't know if it's the Libra in me. I don't know if it's just the woman that I am growing to be, and how I love my peace of mind and how I love being able to know that it's a time when to go and it's a time when to have a seat. I had to actually take upon myself to know that I needed time to relax. I had to communicate that enough is enough. I need time to relax. I need to get my mind right. I've been on go, working, mothering, doing all the things. And I just had an epiphany. I had to realize that I am one person. And being that I'm one person, I am not 25 anymore. Okay. And that's not to say that a 25-year-old's energy level versus a 41-year-old energy level. I'm just saying I'm not the spring chicken that I used to be. And there is certain boundaries and certain things that just don't sit right with me. I have to find a way to get it together. And I'm a really accountable person when it comes to knowing what it is that I want, vocalizing what I want, but also meeting the parties, people, places, and things that I'm having these conversations with. And that, I feel, is a part of mastering oneself. Mastering oneself, for me, it is not a pretty sight. It's not a space that is going to be perfected, and it's something that I personally feel, due to having certain conversations with others as well as me growing and glowing throughout my life, you're never going to always get it right. I feel like to the day we transition in this world to the spiritual realm, we're going to always be mastering and learning something about ourselves. So I wouldn't take it to heart when you make a mistake or something is done or said that you may have felt that you should have grown from, because sometimes things just happen and we have to give ourselves grace. All what is going on in this world and all the things that most of us do, whether you're parental, whether you stay by yourself, whether you have a family, it's just so much that the everyday individual does on a daily basis that just getting home safely is just something to show gratitude for. So I wouldn't be so hard up on myself when it comes to mastering the woman or man that you are becoming. Me being a woman, I've learned to give myself some grace, because I used to be so hard on myself to where I had created in my mind this level of paranoia that everyone else is being hard on me. And the whole time I'm being hard on me because my high expectations for others as well as myself was just out of touch and out of reach. And I had to change that mindset and realize that I have to meet people where they are, just like people have to meet me where I am. And I am loving the woman that I am becoming at 41 years old, because the woman that was 31 or 21 did not have the recipe. Okay, did not have the mindset that I have. So I'm very thankful that I'm in a place, in a space to where I'm able to not only advocate for myself, but to have those uncomfortable conversations, whether it be business or personal, and leave with all hearts clear, because I know my intentions and the resolution that I am committed to trying to have, and the thought process to try to just have just as much peace as possible. Thus, things are going to happen. And I've always been very vocal on protecting myself, trusting myself, as well as advocating for myself. Because as an adult and as an educated woman of color in the United States of America, you have to make sure that you protect yourself. You have to make sure that you advocate for yourself. Because if you don't, honey, who's going to advocate for you? Who's going to ensure you 100% more than you? So when it comes to handling my business, I'm going to always be on top of it. When it comes to communication, I'm going to do my best to be on top of it. I'm not the perfect communicator, but I think I do a pretty 90% good job at communicating and at trying to resolve things wise fresh, not sitting on it, not thinking about it, and not delaying it. So that is all a part of mastering the woman that I am becoming. And that's not to say that I have it all figured out. I absolutely do not. And I don't think I want to have it all figured out. And I say that because we don't live in a perfect world, and there's not a perfect person walking this earth. And I do not care how much surgeries they get. I do not care how much fillers people get. I do not care how they may have all the numbers in the world and financial security. That does not heal a broken heart or a broken mind. What heals a broken heart and a broken mind, from my perspective, is mastering oneself, whether it is your spiritual health, your mental health, or your physical health. Sometimes we have to just accept that this particular place or this particular person or this particular thing does not serve us anymore. And as much as we want to linger or consume or not think that we're being stagnant by our own mindset, by not letting that thing go or letting that person go or not accepting that this is no more, we are the problem sometimes because we don't want to accept that this is not helping. This is absolutely hurting. And I feel like as a woman that is growing and maturing throughout life, that it has not been comfortable for me at all to have the sense that I have. It is just going through life cycles, going through life circles, and just really just figuring it out and taking accountability to the things that will help me and benefit me in the long run. So I always tell people I'm really not a I'm a listening ear, and I'm a great storyteller, but I do not desire to be an open book with everybody. Now that I have actually took time to understand what monitoring spirits are and how people will try to force energy, source energy, I'm very comfortable in the skin that I am in. I just have grew boundaries and highly particular about who I share my space with, because what I have learned throughout life, not everybody, including some family members, have the best intentions for you. So I never want to be where I'm feeling comfortable with someone and I am loving on someone and I'm connected with someone and it's not reciprocated because I assumed that you had my best interests. But we all know that a listening ear can also be a running mouth. So I'm very particular of the people, places, and things that I resonate in and who I allow in my space, because everybody does not have good intentions for you. And that's another part of mastering the woman that I am becoming, and learning and not taking it personal that certain things did not work out in my best interest, because maybe, just maybe, something better is coming along the way. And I see that there's a thing called the burnt toast effect that I seen on TikTok and IG, and it's just when a delay is not a denial, which is a episode that I talked about previously. I think my first or second episode of the It Gets to a Point podcast, and how I have learned to be more comfortable with my delays, because just because it's not working out today, just because it hasn't worked out yesterday, does not mean that thing that you're working on is not going to work out. So I've learned to have patience with myself, to know that I may have a couple of things that I would love to be birthed and to manifest it and for it to happen right now. Absolutely right now. But what I have learned and what I am learning is to not get disencouraged when things do not happen in the blink of an eye, and to have patience with myself and by far the process. Because being a mom, being a worker, and going back to school in 2015 to get my degree in business, get all the certifications, been to hair school, done all the things to better my circumstances, to be able to raise my girls. That what now one is a teenager and the other one is an adult. I never want them to feel that they have to do things that is going to make them feel like they have to be told lies or grow uncomfortable within their esteem. That I feel like as a parent, as a woman who has worked very hard to accomplish all the things that I have done, I refuse to allow anything or anyone to break my spirit on account of your confusion, on account of you not knowing what you want, and on the count of wanting to try to lead me astray, on account of you not understanding me enough to read the book fully. Metaphorically, hypothetically speaking, 9 times out of 10, when a person just don't get you, it is just either y'all are just not compatible or they just haven't been patient with the process to get to know you. Because there's people in our lives right now that we're still learning. And it's been 2 years plus. And I feel like as I sit here and I think about it, who's to say a person is not going to stop learning? Like, we gravitate like different styles, like different looks, wear different hairstyles. Who said a person was going to just stop growing? I feel like that is a part of mastering yourself, not having limits and limitations, telling the next man or woman, oh, when you get this certain age, you can't do this. Oh, when you get this certain thing, you can't do that. Who died and made you king or queen of telling everyone that they what they can and cannot do because of an age or because of something that you feel that you're deflecting and projecting on me? Because you can't do it does not mean that I cannot do it. And I think that is another part of pivoting into mastering oneself, is not allowing what they say to get in your head, because you're going to meet a lot of people throughout life that is going to be 100% distractions. And you're going to go through a lot of things in life that probably won't make sense. But the point of it all, that if you can quantum leap past all of that confusion, past all of those naysayers, and past all of those impostered people that have to do a thing to feel good about their low self-esteem, that have to do a thing to feel good about trying to humble the next man or woman, or assuming they're stopping a bag for them, or assuming that they're getting in a way of someone due to resentment or envy or being scorned. Mastering who you are becoming is accepting that things are not going to always work out the way that you want it to work out. Maybe that relationship you wanted, you had big dreams for it, but it just wasn't a part of the plan. And forcing energy, for me, I personally, as I have grown through life, feel like nothing good comes out of that, period. I'd rather not, because I actually enjoy my peace. I don't need 100,000s of people in my space, in my energy to feel good about me. I'm perfectly okay with the handful of people that I can count that truly loves me, one phone call away, and I never have to question if they are for me or not. I just don't care that much, because I've experienced enough to realize you can be in a room full of people and feel absolutely nothing. Because 9 times out of 10, those people you're in the room with, you're probably at an event, whether it's a social circle or network or what have you, family gathering, and everyone has their own agenda. Whether you have a group of people that is an opportunist, or a good group of people that are business savvy and more ambitious and looking and networking, or narcissistic individuals that is there trying to figure out what they can get off everybody else. Like, it's just so many personalities and energies in this world, I don't have the bandwidth to overly consume myself or overly compensate myself of things of the unknown that just don't have anything to do with me. Because if it's not helping me, it is for sure hurting me. And if it's not assisting me in being a part of my learning tree within my divine, I just don't have that kind of time to consume myself with how you feel about me. That is a highly personal problem, to worry about how someone feels about you. Because if they're not speaking life into you, if they're not trying to get to know you and who you are at your core and the woman or man that you're destined and designed to be, then who cares? Because when you experience enough within life, enough of pain, enough of hurt, enough of neglect, enough of dysfunction, enough of disconnection, enough of love, enough of growth, enough of family, like all of these things, you have to try to put it together to make it sense for your life and to say, what can I do to be a better person? How can I fix this problem within myself by mastering who I am becoming, so that things that once used to trigger me won't trigger me anymore, because I refuse to allow how you're feeling and how you woke up out the bed to get to me, because I'm too busy mastering who I can be. Not to say that I'm going to do everything right, not to say that I'm not going to have my days, but it's the fact that I am 100% accountable, that I am and can attest to, I am mastering the woman that I am becoming. And that means that I refuse to let setbacks stop me. I refuse to let naysayers stop me. I refuse to let projectors stop me. I refuse to allow deflectors to stop me. And that's just that. It is not to say that I won't bend throughout life. I just refuse to break. I just refuse to let you and your insecurities get in the way of my security. And because I'm okay with bruising my knee a bit metaphorically in life, but because when you bruise your knee, you want to throw a fit, we on two different sets of the mind. And I'm not there anymore, and I don't live there anymore, mentally, physically, and spiritually, to allow myself to get in my way. So if I won't allow myself to get in my way of my blessings, of my abundance, and my success, why is it ever okay for you to think that you can come in my life and create havoc and expect good results? Absolutely not. For those that have worked on themselves, for those that have been through some things in life, you just don't have the time, the bandwidth, or the energy to sit there and allow anyone to play with your time. In 2026, really? Who really has the time and the patience getting home, fixing a meal, or having several seats after a long, hard days of work? When dealing with people and energy is a goal, to come home to self-care and relax. The last thing you trying to do is deal with more mess or confusion or anything that don't have nothing to do with helping you in any way, shape, or form from any era or aspect. So that's just what mastering yourself is to me. And it can get real ugly and gruesome, and it is not comfortable, but it's highly needed. Because who wants to always be toxic all the time, right? Who wants to always feel you have to be argumentative, or you have to always prove yourself to someone, or always justify and reasoning of what your expectations is of your partner, or what your expectations is of your children? We have to learn how to master ourselves to the point to where we pivot to teaching people how to treat us. And when you teach people how to treat you, some of those problems that you may have once had, once you've created those boundaries, that projection is no more. Sometimes we do need to learn to read more books and just take notes and not be so consumed with social media and all the things that don't have nothing to do with us. Absolutely nothing. Half of it is just gossiping. The other half of it is just media and marketing. And that don't got nothing to do with me, because hell, I can't help them. I'm too focused on what I can do to be a better version of myself and what I can give my core audience to feed you soul food. And metaphorically, soul food, when it comes to being online and the different platforms that I'm on, it is just ways and things to help us all grow. And some things that I do that I just really wanted to show physically that has been a part of my journey of mastering oneself and helped me pivot into a more matured woman that is not a perfect woman, that is still growing. It helps. And this is a book that I've been reading, and it's called The Magic of Thinking Big. Acquire the secrets of success. Achieve everything you've always wanted. Personal property, financial security, power and influence, the ideal job, satisfying relationships, a rewarding and enjoyable life. David J. Scowazi, PhD. This book right here has been something that I have been reading, and I ordered it off Amazon, as well as journaling. And also because I'm a music lover and I like to write music on the side. I write poetry. I've been writing poetry since I've been in eighth grade, and I just really enjoy it. I'm a creative at heart, so I'm always trying to find many different ways and different areas and aspects to keep myself grounded and feeling good as much as possible. Also, this is my little earbuds that I have that I listen to. And this is my massage roller here that I have, to where if I have kinks in my neck and what, so I like to use that to kind of get those kinks out of my neck. And I also have other massage equipment that I may in the long run show you guys. But I feel like as you are mastering yourself, it is just not about human interaction. It's also physical interaction with oneself. It's also mental interaction. So you do have to find a area of your home or a safe space to self-care and do things that make you feel good inside and out. And me just finding very relaxing things, like I say, I don't know if it's the Libra in me, but I just really enjoy a good conversation. I enjoy being understood and not overlooked. Thus, there's going to be times where people are not going to appreciate the love that I have, or actually take time to actually see 100% view of me. And I'm okay with that. I'm talking about the people in my life in real time that I adorn, that I've built relationships with, whether it be platonic or whether it be just a friendship or a comrade or a coworker or someone in my family. Like, I like to be able to understand you so that our hearts are clear. And I love when you understand me, because the point of it all is we're all different, right? And we're living in a world full of people, a world full of energies, a lot of agreeing to disagree. And I don't always want to be the one that is completely misunderstood or overlooked, when I know I'm making some sense of this. I'm not expecting for my words to come out completely glorified, but I know that I'm making some sense into something. And I don't want to feel like there is any objections in what I am thinking, that my feelings matter and how I am trying to come respectfully matters. And I think that if we had that grounded communication, if we had those people in our lives that actually really just took time with us, was more patient with us, that didn't just give up on us, the view may have been a little bit different. And maybe some people was never intended to be around long. That I have processed that there's going to be times where you're going to have seasonal people for seasonal reasons, and that is okay. And then you have your day ones, which they're always there. So that is something that I've also thought about. And I'm thankful to be able to have anybody, whether it's seasonal or whether it's permanent, in my life. I learn something from everyone and everything, even if it's a situation that's not so great. I try to find a lesson in everything that I've endured or experienced, to not take things so personable or get so vulnerable about why would that person do me that way, or why it didn't work out. Sometimes we're saving ourselves from others, and maybe they're saving themselves from us, because maybe, just maybe, it just wasn't intended. Maybe it was a catch for you to catch the view and to actually see that this is just not a vibe. And I'm thankful that for the most part things have worked out in my favor, that I've been protected enough to know this ain't the vibe. And I never take anything for granted, and I definitely don't take people for granted. I'm just mastering myself enough to not force energy. And I love that for me. Because one thing about me at 41 years old, baby, I ain't chasing no man. I attract. I'm not chasing no man. I'm not chasing nobody. I don't even have the energy. I don't have the time. And I'm not in that particular season to where I feel like I got, first of all, who's doing that? I would never teach my young adult female daughters to chase no man. I am the type of person that if it's for you, it will happen. If it's not, it's not. Energy is not to be forced. Because when you start forcing stuff, things go completely wrong. I don't want nothing to do with no forced energy. So that we not even going there with. So as I have matured through life, I know my boundaries and what my expectations is, and chasing someone that make it very clear that they're not in a space mentally, physically, or spiritually to provide me any healthy communication or anything that gives clarification. You just have to let it go and keep it going, because you're going to ruin yourself trying to fix a individual that don't want to be fixed, that don't want to be bothered. And just leaving people right where they had you messed up at is the key in life. Sometimes it is absolutely the key, because what I don't want is seeing a lot of women brokenhearted in 2026, or a lot of young girls crying over spoiled milk. Because 9 times out of 10, when you get older, with my 41-year-old self, if I think about all the relationships that I've had in the past, all of the people that I have encountered, and all of the things that I have done, whether it be good or bad or ugly, I realized that it was highly temporary, and I put myself in fight or flight mode over a bunch of nothing, because it wasn't going to be anyways. And what I want to do on my platforms, especially here on the It Gets to a Point podcast, because it does get to a point where you have to come to the realization that everything is not for you, everybody is not for you, and things that need to change, you're either going to change them, or if you try to force energy, it's going to be forced to change. And that's just that on that. So I don't like to put too much energy into people, places, and things that when you show me who you are the first time, I definitely believe you. And I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to let time do its thing, because I'm not a messiah or a savior in this life. And I don't have all the answers. All I can do is continue to be the best version of Valerie that I can possibly be, and make my mistakes and right my wrongs and do all the things. And as long as I ain't breaking no rules and committing no crimes, I'm good. That's how I feel. But I just can't justify why people think the way that they think. I can't justify why people do the things that they do. All I can do is continue to master the woman that I am trying to be by developing better, healthy habits that help me feel good about my esteem, help me feel good about the woman that I am driven to become, help me feel good about my vocabulary, help me feel good about my success and family and all the things that I strive to do on a daily basis. Excuse me. So therefore, when you too focus on your own development and working on your character development and working on your spiritual and mental and physical health, you ain't got no time. It don't even phase you. And it really does get to a point that once you have worked on that thing, it's metaphorically almost like making up a bed. When you get so focused on positive and you speak positive over your life and you do the groundwork, when stuff get to getting nasty and negative, it can almost make you sick, because you're past that. You don't want anything to do with the nonsense. Thus, nonsense is going to come. If it's not your own nonsense that you can pan out real quick and keep it moving, I don't got time to be worrying about nobody but me. I can't help you. If you got some stuff going on, as a friend, I can empathize your concerns. I can be understanding. We can communicate it. But I cannot save anybody from their demise. I cannot make no other grown adult do nothing that they do not want to do. All I can do is be a safe space for people, but I cannot consume myself with other people's problems because I have my own. And that's where boundaries kick in. And that's something that I am teaching my girls and something I'm learning within myself, that the best feeling in the world to get rid of any acne, any excessive acne, anything is stop trying to be everybody's therapist when you're not certified to do so. Stop consuming yourself with someone's problems. If they're a real family member, if they're a real friend, and they always feel you are the go-to, they need to understand that sometimes the go-to needs a break. Now, it's okay to be there for people at times, but sometimes it can get real silly. And people can get really abusive with your time, not being understanding that you do work 8 to 9 hours. Not being understanding that you do have a family. So we do need to make sure that we have those boundaries, and that we do not eject those boundaries, that we set those boundaries so that people won't think that it is okay to consume us of their problems, because we are all human and we all go through things and we all deal with things differently. So that is just that. That is the episode for mastering yourself. Just taking that needed time and just finding ways to pivot within this life, and know that anything that you're working on for the better grain of the good, it's going to take time. You may not see fast progress at first, but do not give up. My podcast is, I barely get views right now, but I'm not going to give up on it because it's something that I'm passionate about. And I truly believe I have a voice that everybody needs to hear, and a voice that is seasoned and been through enough in life and experienced enough and have had the conversations with enough people within the 40 years of my life, more so the 30-ish plus years, the 30 years or so when I, became an adult and started experiencing, because we already know when I was first born or whatever, of course, I wasn't experiencing anything, but you get my drift. But, yeah, this is just what It Gets to a Point podcast is all about. It's about having fun, being real, and being authentic, because it's a lot of people doing podcasts, but it's not a lot of people doing real podcasts. Really getting to the nitty to the gritty about mental health. Really getting to the nitty to the gritty about spiritual health. About anything to try to find a way out the madness of the mind, and just try to find something good in life without consuming ourselves with things that is not going to help us, but be nothing but a burden. So I have been reading things, and I have been taking time to adjust myself and just take one step at a time, and by far not be so hard on myself, because sometimes we can be too hard on ourselves when we want results, when we want them, when we just need to take one step at a time and know you're not going to always get the things that you want and desire right then and there. As long as you're working towards a goal, you're being consistent with that goal, eventually it's going to all work out. It is just on the timing of the essence. So again, journaling helped me. Reading a book helped me, and doing things that my massage roller helped me. Listening to music, that may not be your safe space. That may not be what you like to do, but find something positive and find something for your personality type that makes you feel good, and just help you not think negative all the time, or feel overly stimulated, or feel that everybody is against you. Just find your peace within yourself. And once you find peace within yourself, you can also spread that light to others. Just like negative energy moves, good energy moves. And it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So yes, that is what mastering yourself is about. And this is what this episode was about. Mastering yourself, loving the woman or the man that you are becoming. Me being a woman, I'm just taking my time at 41 years old, trying to figure out this thing called life. Continuing to love the woman that I'm becoming. Not being so hard on myself. Accepting my flaws and working on the things that I can work on. And being highly unapologetic about it. Because you're going to get in places and spaces that are going to try to control you or try to trick you out your spot. But the key to it and the kicker to it all is not allowing those people, places, and things to tell you who you are. You knew who you was when you woke up this morning, honey. You know what you want in life. And we have to get out of that cycle of consumption, control, and submission to the point that half of these people we're submitting to don't even deserve it. Half of these jobs that we've consumed ourselves with don't even deserve that version of us. What are we going to be able to pour into when we get our own business? So I am learning the give and the take, the push and the pull of growing through life and mastering oneself and who I am becoming and elevating and pivoting to be. And that is not to say I have all the answers. That is not to say I will ever have all the answers. And it's definitely not to say that I'm perfect. It's just to say that I'm willing to make minor adjustments, major adjustments to just be a better person. Okay. And a better person does not mean you're going to be perfect. It means that you are not the man or the woman that you used to be. And you know the man or woman that you used to be. And you can give yourself a pat on the back because you see the elevation, you see the progress. And that is all that matters. Who cares what they say? Let them feel how they want to feel. In the great words of Mel Robbins, let them assume what they do not know. You keep doing what makes and puts a smile on your face. And just know, even if the day isn't all that great, it's always tomorrow. Go home, relax, decompress. Do what makes you feel good. And when we start learning, when we do things that make us feel good versus always wanting to be consumed by others, you feel yourself feeling more relaxed. Weight just starts shedding almost. Skin start brightening up because you've taken off all that weight of the world and actually accepted that you can't fix everything. You're not going to know everything, and you're always going to experience certain things that are going to be tedious and complicated, but it doesn't mean give up. It just means that it's a push and pull effect, and you may have to kind of take it down, tone it down, but keep going. Consistency is key. Okay, you don't always have to be in a rat race. You don't have to always be running in the race. Sometimes you might need to take baby steps, and that is perfectly okay because no one is perfect. We are all individuals just trying to find our way in this very manic world. And you're doing a good job if you can wake up and speak life into yourself and go out the door to whether you're going to school as a young adult or a grown adult or work or both. You did something that someone else probably didn't or wasn't able to do, or probably not even physically here to do. So learn to give yourself grace. Learn to know that mastering yourself is not going to be easy. It may get complicated, but it is okay because it is all a part of the journey. Okay. So I just wanted to spread that light, and I wanted to spread that love. And I also wanted to hold all of my people accountable, including myself, and know that, hey, we're all just out here trying to make it, and we are going to make it because if we have the mindset to know that we can get past some of the things that we are no longer around and the people we no longer are around, that we can do great things in this world as long as we give ourselves a chance and give ourselves the grace to know that we can do it. So let's continue to set healthy habits and to continue to try to find things to brighten up our own day. And for me, you're just as young as being alive. All this talk about numbers, oh, you're too old to do this, you're too old to do that. Baby, as long as you got breath in your body, you're able to get up, shower, get you some breakfast, do your thing, however, to each his own. Do you. Don't put a price tag and don't put a number in behind your health. Don't let what the next person doing or cannot do project or deflect on you. You keep living because you choose to live for you, your family, and what makes and brings you happiness. This is the It Gets to a Point podcast, and this is your girl, Valerie Marie, and I thank you for taking the time to view episode 4, Mastering Oneself. Y'all take care and have a good night. Bye.